The alien scout ship moved silently through the empty darkness near the dead star system. Its hull shimmered faintly under the distant light of dying stars. Commander Varix stood on the bridge, watching the strange readings on the main screen. For centuries, the galaxy believed humans were just legends, a lost race wiped out long ago during the Great Galactic War. No one had seen a human ship in generations. Yet, here in the far reaches of space, something was stirring. "Commander," the sensor officer called out, "we are picking up an unusual signal coming from that planet's orbit." The planet was a cold, dead world, its surface scarred by craters and ancient battles. No life signs had ever been detected there, until now. Varix frowned. Strange. No human activity should be this close. The humans disappeared centuries ago. This must be a malfunction. "No, sir," the officer replied, his voice tense. "The signal is definitely real. It's low frequency, but strong and constant." Varix tapped his fingers on the console, his mind racing. The Council had dismissed stories of humans as myths. But this signal told another story. A warning, perhaps. "Prepare an away team," Varix ordered. "I want a full investigation of that planet's orbit. If there is any sign of human technology or life, we must find it." Minutes later, a small team of aliens, clad in sleek exploration suits, boarded a shuttle and descended toward the dead world. The planet's surface was cold and lifeless. Dust covered everything like a thick blanket, and the wind howled softly across the rocky plains. The team moved carefully across the barren landscape, guided by their scanners toward the source of the signal. After hours of searching, they found it, a structure half buried in the sand. It was a tall, metallic tower with strange markings etched into its surface. The alien technology was unfamiliar, ancient yet advanced. This was no ordinary outpost. It was a war beacon, still glowing faintly after centuries of silence. One of the explorers, a veteran named Frex, approached the tower cautiously. "Commander, this beacon is still active. It's sending a signal into deep space. Whatever it is, it's waiting." The alien captain, an older, scarred figure, studied the beacon. "This is a warning, or perhaps a call. The humans left us behind for a reason. We should leave it alone." But Varix was determined. "We must understand what it means. Contact the ship and tell them to begin scanning the beacon's data." Back on the command ship, the technicians worked quickly to decode the strange transmissions. The alien scientists discovered fragments of old human code hidden in the signal, messages encrypted with layers of complexity. As the data unfolded, a sudden vision flashed through Varix's mind. A brief glimpse of the past. He saw massive battles raging across Earth and nearby planets, starships exploding in brilliant fireballs, and humans fighting fiercely against overwhelming odds. The Great Galactic War had been brutal. Humanity had been pushed to the edge of extinction, yet they had fought with a strength and courage that no other species had matched. Suddenly, the beacon surged with power. Lights flashed, alarms rang out, and the entire command ship shuddered. A pulse of energy shot out from the dead world, rippling through space like a shockwave. "Commander, sensors are detecting something," the lookout shouted. On every screen, blips appeared. Thousands of ships, larger and more advanced than anything the aliens had ever seen, were moving fast toward them. The fleet was real. It was massive, and it was coming home. Varix stared in disbelief. "Prepare for possible contact or conflict. Alert the Council. We may have underestimated the humans." As the alien ship raced away from the dead system, the crew braced for the unknown. The legends were no longer myths. The humans were back, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The alien command ship buzzed with activity as sensors scanned the vast fleet that had suddenly appeared on their borders. Commander Varix stood before the main viewing screen, watching hundreds of massive warships emerge from the darkness of space, moving steadily toward their position. The ships were unlike anything their technology had ever recorded. "Our data on the fleet is incomplete," said the lead scientist, a calm yet concerned figure named Slar. "The ship's design is ancient, but also advanced in ways we do not understand. Some systems appear cloaked or encrypted." Varix frowned, tapping his fingers anxiously on the control panel. How much of the human code have you managed to decode from the beacon signals? Slar shook her head. Only fragments. The encryption is complex. It uses layers of old human programming mixed with new unknown technology. It's like a message inside a puzzle inside a puzzle. Varix turned to the communication officer. Any attempt to contact the fleet? Any signals sent? None, the officer answered. The fleet remained silent. No response to hails. Inside the ship's quiet lab, Slar and her team worked day and night to decrypt the strange codes hidden in the signals from the ancient human beacon. Each piece of data revealed bits of story long forgotten, stories of war, loss, and survival. They uncovered references to Project Exodus and Operation Legacy. The names hinted at a desperate plan from the distant past. As the alien scientists worked, a sudden flash swept across Slar's mind. A memory not hers, but implanted somehow through the beacon's data. She saw a young human pilot, barely more than a child, staring out from the cockpit of a battered fighter ship. The sky above Earth was filled with explosions and fire. Cities were burning, and fleets clashed in space battles overhead. The pilot gripped the controls tightly, tears mixing with determination. This was the last battle before humanity fled their home planet. Beginning a journey into the unknown, Slar gasped, pulling back from her console. This is a memory. The beacon carries more than data. It carries history. We must show this to the Council. Varix called an emergency meeting with the Alien Council. The room was tense as the leaders debated their next move. Some argued that this fleet was a threat that needed to be destroyed before it reached their borders. Others warned that they should try to communicate, to learn the humans' true intentions. The humans have been gone for centuries, one council member said. If they return now, it is for war. Or perhaps for peace, another replied. We cannot assume. The memory from the beacon shows pain, loss, even hope. We must be cautious. Varix listened carefully. We cannot ignore what we are facing. Prepare all defenses. But send a peaceful message as well. We should try to understand before we attack. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. The fleet on the viewing screen blinked. And then, without warning, the massive human ships dropped out of hyperspace, right at the edge of the alien borders. Their weapons were ready, their crews alert. The fleet did not fire. It simply waited. Varix's voice was steady but firm. This is no accidental arrival. They mean to send a message. We must be ready. As the alien crews stared into the vast armada, the weight of the past and the uncertainty of the future pressed down on them. The shadows of history were closing in, and the moment of reckoning was near. The cold vacuum of space was filled with a silent tension between two vast fleets. The alien armada gathered near the edge of their star system, weapons ready but nerves on edge. Across the void, the human warships loomed, massive, heavily armed, and eerily quiet. Their hulls were marked with scars of battles long past, and their engines glowed with power that seemed ancient and relentless. Commander Varix stood on the bridge of his flagship, eyes fixed on the array of blips on the tactical screen. The humans had made no move, no signal, no communication. Only the quiet presence of an overwhelming force. The silence was more frightening than any gunfire. Suddenly, the comms panel flickered, and a single transmission broke through the static. The message was short, but it carried a weight that echoed to the minds of every alien listening. We come for justice. The voice was cold, steady and unyielding, human. Varix's heart pounded. Prepare a response. Send a message of peace. We must understand their demands. But before the alien diplomats could speak, their communication systems crackled and went dead. The humans had jammed all outgoing signals. The alien fleet was left blind and voiceless, unable to communicate or negotiate. Inside the bridge, tension grew. The aliens were trapped in silence, while the human fleet remained still, waiting. Varix's mind flashed back to a memory that had been haunting him since the arrival of the fleet. He saw a human general, standing on a battlefield scorched by fire and destruction. The general's eyes were filled with pain as he watched his family, his wife and child, fall victim to an alien bombardment. That moment had changed the course of human history. fueling a desire for vengeance and justice that now threatened the galaxy. Varix turned to his officers. They are not here to talk. They are here to settle an old score. Suddenly, without warning, the massive human warship closest to the alien command ship unleashed a barrage of energy weapons. Bright beams of destructive light tore through the void, striking the alien ships with devastating force. Alarms blared, shields flared, and the alien fleet scrambled to respond. But the humans fired again and again, each blast calculated and precise. The battle had begun, not with words, but with fire. Varix gritted his teeth. Return fire. Defend our fleet at all costs. The bridge erupted in controlled chaos as the alien crews fought desperately against the overwhelming human assault. The first contact was brutal and unforgiving. The humans had arrived not as legends, but as judges, and their sentence was clear. As the explosions lit the darkness, Varix wondered if the galaxy would survive the coming storm, or if this was a final chapter in the ancient war between humans and aliens. The battle raged across the star-studded void as alien warships struggled under the relentless assault of the human fleet. Explosions lit up the darkness, and the cries of alarms echoed through countless bridges. Commander Varix barked orders, his voice tense but controlled. Hold your positions. Return fire. Shield generators to maximum. Despite their best efforts, the alien ships were quickly overwhelmed. The humans moved with deadly precision, their weapons striking faster and harder than anything the aliens had faced before. The alien crews watched in disbelief as entire squadrons were torn apart by beams of energy that seemed to anticipate their every move. Captain Slar, an experienced officer on one of the frontline cruisers, stared in horror at the tactical screen. Commander, their weapons are unlike anything we have seen. They adapt and evolve mid-battle. Our shields are failing. Varix's mind raced. He recalled reports from the earliest skirmishes, whispers of humans secretly developing advanced weaponry during their exile, hidden in deep space labs and cloaked ships. The technology had been kept secret, a final trump card that the galaxy had underestimated. As the battle continued, strange new threats appeared. Human drones, small but deadly, swarmed the alien ships. These were no ordinary machines. They hacked into the alien systems, scrambling sensors and disabling weapons. The drones moved like ghosts inside the metal hulls, unseen but devastating. Captain Slar reported urgently, "Commander, the drones are inside our ships. They are corrupting our systems from within. We're losing control of key functions." Varix clenched his fists. "We cannot fight a battle we do not understand. Prepare for boarding defenses. We must protect the command ship at all costs." But it was too late. In the midst of the chaos, a group of human boarding pods detached from the warships and sped toward the alien command ship. The pods pierced through the disrupted defenses and slammed into the hull. The boarding teams poured out, armed and ready. The corridors of the alien flagship were flooded with hostile invaders. Varix watched helplessly as the message came in. His own ship was being boarded by human forces. "Prepare for close combat," he ordered. "Hold the line. This is the reckoning. We fight for survival." The war had become personal, and the true test of endurance and will was about to begin. The chaos of battle continued, but new shock rippled through the alien fleet. On the horizon, more human ships emerged, hundreds of them, larger and more powerful than any previously seen. These ships had been thought destroyed or lost in the Great Wars long ago. Their sudden arrival stunned the alien commanders. Commander Varix stared at the approaching fleet, his mind racing to understand this new threat. The human warships were not just reinforcements. They were an entire hidden armada, long kept secret. On the bridge of the largest human ship, the general stood tall, calm amidst the storm. His voice carried over the comms, clear and commanding. Our fleet was hidden for centuries, waiting for this moment. When Earth fell, we swore to return. Now, the time has come to reclaim what is ours. The alien council met urgently. Some among them urged surrender and peace talks, fearful of the overwhelming force before them. Others, hardened by years of conflict, insisted on fighting to the last breath. Varix found himself caught between these opposing views. He understood the pain behind the humans' return, but also feared what continued war would bring. Inside the alien ranks, whispers of betrayal grew louder. Certain factions began to question their leaders, believing that peace might save their civilization. Secret meetings took place in the shadows, as some aliens prepared to break ranks. Meanwhile, the Alien Council authorized a desperate measure. A secret weapon of incredible power was to be launched against the human fleet. The details were classified, even for many of the officers on the front lines. The weapon was unlike anything built before, capable of changing the tide of battle in a single strike. As the hidden human fleet advanced steadily, Varix received a covert message from the Council. Prepare for launch of the secret weapon. Engage only when authorized. The weight of the moment pressed on him. The aliens had one last hope, a gamble that could end the war or destroy them all. As tensions mounted, the battlefield held its breath. The next move would decide the fate of both species, and the shadows of history grew darker with every passing second. The air hung heavy with tension as the alien secret weapon powered up, its enormous structure glowing ominously in the dark void. From the bridge of the human flagship, the general watched the threat loom ahead, a weapon capable of obliterating entire fleets, and possibly entire star systems. The silence was broken only by the steady hum of the weapon's charging core. Commander Varix gripped the armrest of his command chair, eyes locked on the screen. He knew what was at stake. If the weapon fired, both sides would suffer unimaginable destruction. The galaxy itself could be scarred forever. On the human side, the scientists worked frantically to understand the weapon's design. One of them, Dr. Arlen, recalled the weapon's true origins. It was never meant for destruction. Built during the darkest days of the Great Galactic War, it was originally designed as a defense system, a way to shield entire planets from invasion. But the aliens had turned it into an offensive weapon, a terrible gamble fueled by desperation. Dr. Arlen's voice was steady but urgent over the comms. If we don't act quickly, the weapon will fire. We can try to destroy its core, but time is running out. The general nodded. Prepare the strike teams. We must stop this, no matter the cost. Back on the alien command ship, panic spread among the officers. The weapon's core was unstable, charging beyond safety limits. Warnings blared throughout the ship. Commander, the core is breached. Containment fields failing, the chief engineer shouted. Varix's heart pounded. Evacuate non-essential personnel. Focus all power on stabilizing the core. Meanwhile, human fighters weaved through heavy enemy fire to reach the secret weapon. The clock ticked down with merciless speed as the teams fought their way inside the massive structure. Inside the weapon's core chamber, the atmosphere was tense and charged. The humans moved swiftly to plant charges that could disable the core's containment fields. Outside, the roar of battle intensified as both fleets struggled to survive. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the chamber. The core flickered, threatening to erupt into a catastrophic blast. Get out! Get out now! The lead human soldier shouted. They raced toward the exit as the core grew unstable. Outside, the weapon pulsed dangerously, a ticking time bomb in space. On the alien command bridge, Varix stared helplessly as the core's containment fields collapsed. The weapon began to glow brighter, its energy spiraling out of control. Brace for impact, he ordered. But at the last moment, the charges planted by the human strike teams detonated. The core's energy dissipated in a brilliant flash, and the weapon powered down, silent once again. The battle paused, the silence thick with disbelief. Both sides caught their breath, knowing the war was far from over. But for now, the final stand had been held, and a disaster averted. The general's voice came over the comms, low and resolute. This is only the beginning. Prepare for what comes next. The galaxy waited, shrouded in uncertainty and the shadow of war. The vastness of space was silent after the explosion. Bright flashes from the last battle faded, leaving only drifting wreckage and the distant hum of damaged ships. Survivors from both the human fleet and the alien armada floated in their damaged vessels, stunned by what had just happened. The war's fury seemed to pause, but the future remained uncertain. On the human flagship, the general stood quietly, looking out at the scattered stars through the massive observation window. His face was hard, marked by years of pain and battle. Yet in his eyes was a flicker of something softer, a memory of something he longed for, but feared might never come. He thought of his daughter. She had dreamed of peace, a world where humans and aliens could live without fear. Her voice echoed in his mind, gentle and hopeful, reminding him of what they all fought for beyond the anger and revenge. Across the battlefield, alien crews tended to their wounded and repaired their ships. Commander Verex walked through the corridors of his command vessel, feeling the heavy weight of responsibility. He knew the war had cost too much already, but he also knew the fight was not over. The alien leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. Some whispered about surrender, while others prepared for a counterattack. The galaxy was watching, and every decision would shape its future. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up new signals. On the distant edge of the system, unknown ships appeared on the horizon. Their shapes were unfamiliar, neither human nor alien. Tension gripped the crews as everyone waited, wondering if these new arrivals were friends coming to help or enemies bringing more destruction. The general activated the ship's communication system and sent a message to all surviving fleets. We must be ready for what comes next. This war has changed us, but it does not have to end in ruin. Commander Verex responded, "We stand on the edge of a new dawn or endless war. Only time will tell." As the mysterious ships drew closer, both sides prepared for whatever fate awaited them. Suddenly, the screen went dark. A simple message appeared in glowing letters. The legend is not over. If you enjoy my videos, please like, share, and subscribe. It helps my channel grow, and I will make more good videos for you.